All right, we're good to go. Mashoud Ahmad is our last speaker of day one. So for those folks who are coming back for day two, we'll see you tomorrow, and I'll close things out after Mashoud has finished his talk. But we'll do his intro. Mashoud Ahmad is a technology management practitioner with over 20 years of experience in project management, risk management, and management consulting. In the last few years, he has had a number of opportunities to speak at a number of global and virtual conferences, where he has shared his experience and research findings with community to help seamlessly deliver high-value projects. Mr. Ahmed has received a master's from the University of Waterloo, currently holds a PMI-PMP, a PMI-RMP, risk management, and ISACA CISA certifications. So with his talk entitled Risk Management and Critical Thinking, please welcome to the B-side stage, Mashoud Ahmed.
Thank you very much. Everybody can hear me properly, right? Okay. So how's everyone doing on the first day of the conference? Towards the end of the day? Okay. So it's almost end of the day. You might be thinking going back home and leaving a little early. So I promise I will let you go a little early as well. So let's get a little active. If I can ask everyone to stand up and wiggle your hand. Get some energy. And hug yourself and congratulate yourself on the first day of learning and the networking. So my goal is for each one of you to take a few nuggets back to the work that will help you do better on the risk management by leveraging critical thinking and strategies to use every day. So you can now get yourself comfortable and sit down. Thank you. My talk will not be too technical, just like some of the other presenters before. It will be a little abstract that will let us think a little deeper how we work with our colleagues and how we work in the cybersecurity world. Okay. So my name is Mashoud Ahmed. I'm currently based in Edmonton. In the last 20 years, I've worked in US, Canada, and Qatar. Currently, I'm working for a clinical research company where I'm leading a team at Center of Excellence within clinical delivery. I received CISA certification in 2015, PMI's Project Management Professional, and the Risk Management Professional certification, along with a few other certifications as well. I received my master's from University of Waterloo, and in the last 5 years, I challenged myself to do something different and to get over my fear of public speaking, which I still have till today. And what I did is I submit my proposal for speaking at a number of global conferences, and I was lucky that a number of my proposals got accepted, and I had a chance to speak at a number of those conferences in New Zealand, Singapore, PMO Global, PMI Virtual, and a number of chapter conferences. I have learned a lot by practicing in IT controls, risk management, and project management. More importantly, by volunteering for these organizations. Volunteering helped me build my communication skills and expand my network beyond the geographic location. So I would like to thank Harvinder and his team for excellent volunteer work today for setting up this B-side conference as well. So I would like to engage with each one of you. So feel free to connect with me during the conference or even after the conference via LinkedIn or getting hold of me via direct email. So this next slide is a disclaimer, especially for our friends in the legal team or the general counsel. In some companies, they call them. The views and thoughts are my own. They do not express any of the views or the endorsement from my previous or my current employers or my clients. So just to make them happy. So today we will start with the fundamental of risk management. Then we will discuss the practical approaches and some of the best practices. Later we'll talk about the 7 critical thinking skills that will help us practice the risk management. And last, we will recap this and open the floor for questions and answers. Sounds like a plan? What is risk management? Risk management is one of the key challenging area due to uncertainty and interdependence in business and technical environment. Risk management is not an end to itself, but rather a sound organizational practice that includes planning, preparedness, evaluation, process improvement, and priority development. Risk management must be proactively and systematically managed from the beginning to the end. Risks are always there at every single stage. It could be high impact risk or a low probability impact risk or just a residual or secondary risk. So what is the definition of risk? A situation involving exposure or a danger, a vulnerability as we call it in cybersecurity. Effect of uncertainty on an objective, or the PMI definition, uncertain event or condition if occurs has positive or negative impact on project objectives. So PMI has a unique way of defining risk on the projects. They define them as positive or negative. We all understand the negative risk very well. The positive risk is something that can help us do our project better, right? So something that can help us give a leverage. So those are the positive risks that PMI recommend that we should also consider. So risk management framework, it provides a disciplined and structured approach to the risk management. As a best practice, risk management framework can be customized for your organizational and the culture needs. The first step is to plan the risk management. So you develop your overarching plan, how you're going to manage different types of risk within your organization. This is the overarching plan where you would define processes, controls, escalation pathways, and prepare for the day zero. The next is to identify the risk. It's a collaborative exercise, and we'll talk a little bit more about risk identification. Then we get into qualitative and quantitative risk analysis, where we justify the risk and see how much impact it may have within the organization. And based on that information, we plan, we prioritize and plan the risk response, how we're going to respond to those risks. And from there, we implement the risk controls, and that takes us back to the iterative loop of improving our plan, overall plan for the risk management, and also risk identification, and the cycle continues forever. So here are some of the best practices that I'm going to highlight. The first one, we'll talk about foster the culture of risk management. We'll talk about creativity and risk management, expert judgment, and some of the risk management tools that you may be already familiar with. Within an organization, one of the key success factors is to develop and foster risk management culture. We can build risk management culture by having shared purpose and objective. This can be achieved by emphasizing on the purpose of the organization. Everyone in the organization must fully understand the goals and the objectives of the organization. The focus here is on the why of the organization. Next, we talked about shared risk ownership. Risk identification is everyone's responsibility. Each and every single team member, from senior executives to an analyst, must be engaged in risk identification, analysis, and planning process. Team empowerment and risk culture. Risks are not bad things. Everyone in the team must be empowered to take appropriate action at his or her level. This creates a risk culture where risks are managed proactively by each and every single team member. Last, we talk about communication. We need to have robust communication. As a technology management professional, we spend a lot of time in communication, explaining what is happening in the environment. It could be formal or informal communication. A risk register must be updated all the time. New risks should be identified, analyzed, processed, and planned. Further to the risk management required a robust communication to effectively manage and control the risk within the team and external to the environment. Level and method of communication would vary from organization to organization based on the nature and the core of the business. So if your organization is client-facing, outward-facing, you will have external communication team that you would work with, and sometime you are working for a client, then you need to think about how you're going to communicate the bad news with the client if there's any bad news, or how you're going to communicate the good news, right? So again, having all those communication pathways defined. IBM did a study a number of years back that reveals that creativity is the most important leadership quality. Creative leaders are prepared to break the status quo and take risks to deliver and align with the organizational objectives. Creative thinking helps team in risk management process, especially in risk identification. This is where the team member can work as individually or as a group. There is always a white elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about. Someone knows about something, but they are shy to talk about or raise hand. No one wants to be a messenger of a bad news. Remember, bad news does not get better with age. Next, we talk about expert judgment. One of the key tool and technique identified number of times in different best practices is expert judgment, or sometimes we call it the human touch. Intuition, it describes knowing without the sense of rational process, a sense or a feeling about something that cannot be easily explained or justified. Sometimes we just know it seems right, or sometimes we consider it feels something wrong. It's all about bringing your unconscious to the conscious, and this comes with the experience and the time. Intuition is the result of years of experience and knowledge and a combination of soft skills. Personal bias should be reduced to take it into account. However, we can use intuition and empathy to improve decision-making process in the risk management. So what is empathy? It is a major factor in finding the accuracy of your intuition. It is recommended to have empathetic focus on the team members, observing posture, tone, pattern, and other clues of the emotional state. Lessons learned from the previous experience are valuable to the individual as well as the organization. Over the period of time, we can identify patterns from old technologies that can impact us in this way. We also need to avoid the analysis paralysis situation. This is where we get to the point of diminishing result. We should know when it is good enough and we should move on. Lastly, for everything, we should have a checklist. I tend to forget things on a regular basis. Over the years, I have built a number of checklists that help me keep on track myself. So some of the risk management tool that we have seen earlier, we need to build and maintain a central risk register for the organization for the different type of risk. We identify risk owners and the team to support and maintain those risks. We develop risk management workflows to manage the risk through their life cycle. We built automated workflows, alerts, and communication as well. We transform this into executive dashboard that help us prioritize and drill down the high impact risks to get the better visibility at the executive level. Now, we will look into 7 critical thinking skills. Empathy. Jay Shetty, a former monk, author, and a podcast host, explained empathy. Real empathy is connecting to someone in their emotional language, not yours. That is real empathy, the real connection, real compassion, is that you are able to communicate with someone and express your thoughts in their emotional language, not yours. This is something that we struggle every day because when we are feeling tired, exhausted, stressed, overworked, we communicate more in our language because we want to be heard. Not realizing when we fight to being heard, we actually alienate the other person. They just get disconnected because we are speaking a foreign language. Who do we need to show the empathy? To the team, the cybersecurity professional. They are under enormous pressure all the time. Curiosity. Intellectually, we must keep growing, and this is why we are here. Curiosity is a state of active interest of genuinely wanting to know more. It creates openness to unfamiliar activities and lay groundwork for even greater opportunities to create new experiences. It is quality that can be nurtured and developed over the period of time by practicing and asking questions to yourself and your team. Curiosity is all about noticing and drawn to small things around you that most people miss. When we are curious, we are seeing things differently. It's a skill that helps us master our observation skills. Asking questions, figuring it out things at your own, researching will help you discover more about yourself, your environment, and the technical and the business world around you. Albert Einstein famously said, "I have no special talent, I'm passionately curious." Be curious. Accountability. One of the great challenges is the team accountability. We have to keep everyone accountable for their roles and responsibility. We don't see the consequences of not being accountable. However, we set standard by ourselves and lead by example for our team and colleagues to follow. As being accountable to our words and actions, be true to yourself. As we do this, we raise the bar every single time for ourselves and the people around us, enabling everyone to grow in their journey. We do this by setting the expectation, keep level up until we get to the place where everyone feels comfortable and accountable for their actions. It is important for yourself in this journey to become exemplary in your team. Candor. Candor is being open and honest. Express yourself clearly in a kind, candor way. As a technology professional, we can be candor about our environment, candor with respect to our evaluation of the situation, incident, IT control, processes, etc. Candor with respect to people on your team and their true capabilities. Every interaction you have with anyone should be candor, clear, concise, to the point so that it can provide clarity and set expectations. Next one is conviction. Conviction helps us set value and standard for yourself and so it does not distract you from those values and standard. A lot of people go through the flow bypass, right? And they bypass their own values and the standards. If you have internal conviction, it will allow you to get in alignment who you want to be and where you want to go, even in the tough times. Humility. This is one of my favorite critical thinking skill that I try to practice every single day. It is a quality of being humble. Think about ourselves less, more about the others. Humility is to create a safe place to talk about team members struggling and build a culture to support and build trust. We all struggle at some point in time in our life and career. Most of the people will rise if you provide them the right support with humility. Model humility in your practice. Be humble. Humility is also asking for help when needed. Support each other. You do not know what is going on in other people's personal life. Get to know your colleague. They might be going through some rough times in their personal life. Kindness. Kindness is a type of the behavior marked by the act of generosity, consideration, or concern for others without accepting any praise or reward. So without thinking anything in return, you be kind to other people. And if you're kind to other people, it does come around in a long run as well. So that kind of brings us to end of my talk. So here's a recap. So we talked about risk management in general. We talked about the risk management framework, practical approaches, and some of the best practices. And at last, we talked about 7 critical thinking skills for the risk management. With that, as promised earlier, I will let you guys go a little early today, and I will open the floor for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mashoud. I really love the philosophical ending with the 7 critical thinking skills. That was a great end to your talk. We've got time for questions. If anybody's got questions for Mashoud. All right, great.